All right, we are live. Let's jump
Woo!
into it. Hello and welcome to Who Dudes, a Doctor Who podcast. You are here with your host, that's me, Connor Mack. I am here with my best buddy in the Whoniverse, Mr. Josh O'Connor. Josh, what's cracking? Long time
Not
no talk.
eggs.
Not eggs, thankfully.
Too
Has your house
expensive.
ever been egged?
Thankfully, no.
I don't think kids do that anymore, so we kind of left
I
out.
don't. Well, it's too expensive now.
Eggs are way too. That's exactly that's the reason why. Eggs are way too expensive. Um, all right. Today we are covering Josh. Josh was live texts as always on Doctor Who episode 5 from season 2 or series 15 or season 41, however you want to categorize it. The story and the engine. And this one is written by a first time Doctor Who writer, Iniwa Ellams.
He did
I
a good
forgot to
job, I
mention
think.
last week. The episode was written by Pete Mateague, who is that was his third Doctor Who episode. He had previously written a couple of Jodie era episodes. I think that was his best one, though. But
Okay, cool.
without further ado, Josh, you ready to jump into your texts?
Yes.
Awesome.
Let's go.
So first off, as always, Josh sends me a warning: live text incoming. That's when I know
You're about
to
put your
to
phone
keep
on
on.
silent. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll mute him and then check back in when it's all. Or I mean, sometimes I actually watch as it goes along. That's fun
Yeah.
because a lot of times I'll be at work and I'll just be doing stuff like busy work and just like checking in every now and then to see the updates. You say, "Oh right, the next time had giant spiders. Yippee!" Which of course, Josh, is
Yay.
not sarcastic. It's not sarcastic because you're a huge fan of spiders, right?
No, I'm completely arachnophobic and I hate them.
I saw somebody say that this is
tiny little spiders. I was like, no, go away. Fuck off.
yeah. No, I mean there's reason to be afraid. Um, this is the 4th spider episode of the modern series, apparently.
Really?
That's what somebody said. I think because we have the David Tennant one with the first Donna episode.
Which we mentioned, right?
We mentioned that,
But
yeah.
that was like one giant spider lady. It wasn't
Yeah.
like spider creatures. Well, she was a spider creature, but
We had the overgrown spiders in Jodie's first season.
I must
And
have blanked that out.
yeah, it's a very bad episode, Josh. And then we
Not for that
had
reason.
no. And we had there's another spider episode that it's like a spider related to the David Tennant one in Jodie's second season. I think that's the Tesla episode, Nikola Tesla.
I forgot about that one too. Apparently,
that's actually that's a decent episode, but it's
yeah,
you know that era it blurs together a lot.
It's forgettable, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, we love the 13th Doctor. No shade to her, but big time shade to spiders because they're scary. This one's a bit different though.
Yep.
So hopefully you weren't too afraid the entire time.
No, once I realized what was actually going on, I just when I started this episode, I was just remembering like the flashes I saw of the fucking next time when I was texting you my ideas about who Mrs. Flood was at the end of the Conrad episode. And it was like, oh, spider webs everywhere, and there's this giant fucking spider looking thing. I'm not gonna like that episode, and I was wrong, thankfully.
Thankfully. Okay, you say, first off, I like the animated art through the barbershop as he tells the story.
Yeah, that was a cool, like, artistic choice for telling the story. It was really, really well done.
Yeah, definitely. Set in a barbershop in Nigeria, they're telling stories. The stories are being portrayed on the wall via animation. Very, very cool. Are you a farmer? I'm the doctor.
Which part of the story that's being told, which is
yes,
fine.
And so this is the original owner of the barbershop, his first encounter with the Doctor, which actually this was released as a short story on the BBC website last week. So you can read it
cool.
It's a really really good short story about when he was a kid, his first encounter with the Doctor. It's a really nice, sweet story. So he always comes when he's needed, which is very very true of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Red alert.
Yeah, the klaxon goes off at me being a Trekkie. Red alert.
It needs feeding, which
What could that
is
mean?
the first. Yeah, that's the first kind of hint that something's very wrong here with the alarm going off and needing.
This one actually felt kind of like 11's era, where it's like, oh, everything's normal until suddenly it isn't, and then the title. Do you get the title like intro going?
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck. What do you call that sound? It's like the. I don't even know how to pronounce it right now. But you know how the theme song starts? It's that like
The warp.
I guess glissando, crescendo. Fuck.
Yeah, you can. I think you can call it a crescendo. I do know. I do know what you mean.
But it feels like you're diving into the song. Like that's
yes.
what this intro felt like this time, where it's like, oh,
definitely,
it needs feeding, and then launch the intro. It's like, okay, yeah, this is Doctor Who. Let's go.
And the intro starts on the wall too, where the stories are being portrayed. You can it starts on the wall and you dive into it. Yeah,
I love when that stuff happens. That's really
me too.
So minor spoiler for the end of Andor, but I was listening to the credits, and for some reason Disney Plus has just been auto playing episodes, even though I have that setting fucking turned off on my profile. But I like listening to the credits on like an hour long show, and I'm just kind of sitting there absorbing it, looking up things that I was thinking about. But I was posting about the end of Andor and how much I liked it, and the music suddenly changed from like Andor's theme into the OG Star Wars theme, and it was such a great transition. I absolutely loved it. And it's like those little like connecting details, like connecting the stories together, even if it's not just writing wise, but in the sound design and the cinematography, like they just did here, like you're pointing out in Doctor Who right now. I love those little tiny details.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Murray Gold is really great at that kind of thing. The composer, the story, and the engine. Josh has gotten to the titles.
Yes,
very intriguing title.
It is.
First off, you write, what are the round things?
What are the round things? I have no idea.
Yeah,
I think they were. I for some reason they were in the background, and I was just thinking about that line.
They're very showcased in this first scene, and I don't know. I'm happy that this TARDIS has
round things,
a heaping of round things that light up. We know one function of the round things is that's where River hides her liquor. So that's one thing. Next up, we have the TARDIS does your hair. It does.
Yes, it does.
Which this is very fun because this opened up a whole can of worms. It's like because there are continuity things where the companion's hair changes in between episodes that are continuous, and in Capaldi's case, in his first season, in the episode Flatline, he goes from scruffy hair to short hair to scruffy again in the span of like 5 scenes. And so now we can retcon that and say, oh, that was the TARDIS that did that.
Was he going like in the TARDIS?
That's not a continuity. Yeah.
If he's going in the TARDIS every time, every time the Doctor goes in the TARDIS, you can assume there's 100 years of time between those. So
yes, absolutely. Yeah. 2019, a great year. Which, I mean, that's debatable. It certainly is the year before everything fell apart.
Yeah. It is debatable, but it was an interesting comment.
Better than what we're dealing with now. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Once again, easy Vindicator check. I love how easy, like, the Vindicator is such a cool plot device. It's like we see it like for 15 seconds every episode. We're thrust into the action. Yeah, it's very funny. It's like how does it actually work? I don't really know. We're slingshotting around space and time somehow. That'll bring us back to the current year. I don't know.
Yep. Sorry, I had to take care of something for tomorrow, but should be set now.
All right. His body changes a lot. This is the 15th Doctor explaining to Belinda
regeneration. Yep.
Regeneration, yeah, for the first time.
Did he ever explain that to Rose?
I mean,
not Rose, Ruby. Yes.
He does in
the other blonde companion whose name
I know they're easily. I mean, and they're both the color red. That's what both of their names mean. Ruby.
Oh, you're
Rose.
right. Oh,
so, yep. And so he does explain it to her in the season finale. He explains regeneration.
Okay.
Briefly, but so you just say one. I like that they are touching on the racism again and not leaving it at the wayside. Agreed.
Yep. Two, because it's not. I mean, it's a black doctor.
Yes.
You can't travel through history with a black doctor and just ignore the racism outright. That's unfortunately not what you can do.
No, I know, and yeah, it's good that they're facing it head on.
Yeah,
and then two, this is more interesting. You know, you say I love that he feels accepted at the barbershop, and that means way more than the racism thing. I think that's like really cool. It's a different take.
It's got double meaning.
It's got exactly, and I mean, you know, you have the end of an episode like Dot and Bubble where you see all these terrible people that are not accepting of him. Don't want his help, don't want anything to do with him, and then you have the contrast with here, a place where he feels accepted, where he feels like he belongs. I think it's very cool to show both sides of that.
Yeah, and I love that it's also like he feels accepted in this African barbershop. Just on one side, yes, because they're not going to be racist to the black doctor, but on the other side, it's like the doctor his whole character is that he's been lonely for like thousands of years because he's been the last of the Time Lords. He's been on the run from the Time Lords. We don't know what the Time Lord status is right now, but he's always lonely. And so having this place, even if it's a barbershop, silly enough, that he feels accepted and feels like he's at home, that means a lot for the Doctor specifically.
The universe is a big place, but that's a very rare thing within it.
Yeah.
And then Belinda quote, "That's the most human thing, Doctor." Belinda says that, which is cool because that's a moment where she relates to it too, with her grandmother taking her back to India, I think, which is a nice little moment that they share. Yeah.
Okay.
Turn back. There's signs that Oh, and Belinda very generously, she wants to go home still. That's clear enough, but she says, okay, go ahead, just spend some time here, take your time, it's okay, I understand, I get it. So that's very nice. As much as Belinda wants to go home, she is softening. She has softened to the Doctor. They've got a very sweet relationship, and so the Doctor is looking for this barbershop. Very, he's saying hi to everybody, very social. We know this guy, this Doctor is very social, but you can tell he really thrives in this environment.
Yep.
You say, and that is why the tortoise has a cracked shell.
Just one of those non sequitur ends of the stories that we hear, and I found that one kind of humorous.
Yes, you can only imagine what came before that. TARDIS freaked out. We see Belinda in the TARDIS, and it goes red. It's something bad is happening.
I think Nova was in the room, and she got startled by whatever sound the TARDIS made here.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh no, not the TARDIS." Welcome to my establishment, Black Elvis. That's very, very funny because you're absolutely right.
I could not catch any of the characters' names in this episode. And seeing as I can't spell 15's actor's name to save my life, or pronounce it properly, I just didn't want to even try. So I tried to come up with monikers, and the guy who comes out is like, "This is my establishment," is clearly the bad guy of the episode. Is like, he looks a bit like Elvis. I'm just going to call him Black Elvis for the sake of the rapid fire text that I do for you.
Yeah, no, he does. I thought that was very, very funny. he's this guy. I don't remember his name either, to be honest with you. I know Omo is the guy that originally owned the barbershop that is there,
Okay.
and then but yeah, he this is a good villain.
An interesting
Really
one,
enjoy this guy.
definitely.
Yeah, he's very interesting. We get more into that. Current theory, you say Black Elvis is a Time Lord and the barbershop is a TARDIS. That's at this point good theory.
Yeah, I mean, he's mysterious. He's in a clearly the barbershop is existing outside of the reality of the town that they landed in. And the Doctor's TARDIS is freaking out whenever the Doctor steps through the door. So clearly, the TARDIS has no idea what's happened to the Doctor. Not clearly, but like my thinking is that the TARDIS has no idea where the Doctor suddenly stepped out of its like perception of the universe. So, what's something that would be outside the universe? Another TARDIS, perhaps?
Yeah, yeah. And actually, this guy he's just called the barber. That's his name. There's no.
Yeah, that was the other thing.
Yeah, he's the barber.
Kind of go back to the governor from last episode. It's like
yes,
what Time Lords do.
And what a cool Time Lord name would that would be too. You say, seeing as the master is currently assumed to be a tooth, I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say it's the Valeyard. That is certainly a stab in the dark. That would be crazy.
Also, what fucking wild sentence. The master is currently assumed to be a tooth.
Yeah. Imagine seeing this text like 5 years ago. You're like, wait, what? How that
would have been Missy, right? Yeah. What the fuck?
Yes. Yeah. Pretty crazy. They're running out of stories. So I think we here we'll just say that essentially the idea is stories power the engine of
the barbershop.
Of the barbershop.
Somehow.
Specifically telling stories while this barber is cutting your hair with his special razor. Which is a very cool concept. And then I think we see. Do we see the hair grow really fast after that?
Yes.
Too? Yeah, the hair grows back like right away, pretty much. It's a very hungry. Yes. You say, "Oh, the animated stuff is actually happening."
Yeah, it is apparently diegetic.
Yeah. Great word. 2 package time.
Yeah, just an idea of the story is like, oh no, there's music. This is the guy telling the story about how music used to be different back before recordings, where it would always change, and it's like the idea that modern recordings package music in a way it's like packaging a moment in time, and that's a very interesting way to think about it.
I love that story because I mean I totally agree as somebody who loves music and as a musician. It is true. I mean a song is different every time you play it, and so there is just some magic you do lose in a recording, and that's just the nature of it. I listen to music all day every day, but
you're listening to it right now.
Yeah, I'm listening to it right now. You don't know, but I got one Bluetooth in. I'm listening to AC/DC. No, but yeah, every because here's an example. I've seen Green Day 23 times, and I've seen some of these songs I've heard 23 times live. Some more than
24 different versions of them.
Yes, so every time it's different. It really is. It means something different, and you feel something different. There's something very special about live music.
I just can't handle the crowds and the level of the volume of the music at live shows. Not on a regular basis. Certainly not 23 times. I can do maybe one rock show every other year.
Yeah, I mean, it's
most of the crowd that I don't like.
This is over 20 years though, so it's not.
Yeah, no, I know, but that's just Green Day though. I know you go to like a rock show every other week.
Yes, yeah, it's just Green Day. Yes, I do get what you're saying, though. Not for everybody.
But I very much like to listen to recordings. I do listen to music a lot, not as much as you, but I listen to recordings all the time, and
what I'll
there's
say
something
about
familiar
recordings,
about
yes. Well, there's something
having the
familiar.
same recording every time.
Yes, but also it loses something, but it gains something in that, like, every time you listen to it, you are in a different spot, physically
A
and
different state.
emotionally and mentally.
Yep.
Yeah, different state, and so it does change every time in that way, and there's something special about
Absolutely.
that as well. So, um, next you say, "Wow, incredible." Any idea what that's referencing?
That's the Doctor referring to the window with the animations
Oh,
going on it. He's like, "Oh, this
yes.
is like projecting the story,"
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then he
yeah, yeah.
immediately goes, "Dalek, Cybermen, Weeping Angels." It's like, don't bring the Weeping Angels on.
Yeah, you
The
say,
Weeping
"Doctor,
Angels,
don't
an
bring the
image of a
Weeping
Weeping
Angels
Angel
here."
becomes a Weeping Angel. Don't put it in the Weeping
I
Angel on
know.
the fucking magic story projector.
At first, I did kind of think that was like his plan, like, I'm gonna
It might
bring the
have
Weeping
been.
Angels here because if the Weeping Angels are here, they'll send us back in time. If they're, hopefully they will, or they'll break our necks. But um, so that was like my idea. I was like, okay, that is a plan. I don't know if it's a good plan, but it is a plan. Um,
It's an idea.
so
It may not be a plan yet.
it's an idea. Yeah, but yeah, he ends up not going that direction. You must tell a story. You must feed it. It's always hungry. What is
What is
hungry?
it?
We don't know yet. Another TARDIS freak out. Yes.
I think that's when
Uh,
the Doctor sat down
yeah.
and told a
Yeah.
story for the first time.
Yeah. I think pretty much it's coinciding with the alarms, right?
I think so. I don't remember. The
Why
TARDIS seemed
do
to
I
freak
know
out
your
at kind
face?
of random intervals. But yeah.
Why do I know your face?
Yeah, so that was the Doctor speaking to the woman who walked into the door bringing everybody food.
Abina.
What was it?
Her name is Abina.
Abina. Okay, because I again didn't pick up on any of the characters' names. I had trouble with that this episode. But my first thought was that she was the fugitive Doctor.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I said old Doctor? Question mark.
Yeah. Yeah, they do seem to kind of well, the Doctor seems to recognize her as some kind of.
Yeah. And I was looking at it, I was like, the face doesn't look right, but I mean it's a black woman of similar proportions. So
yeah, no,
that's where I was like,
totally,
maybe.
Yeah, no, it's totally.
Haven't seen her in a couple of years.
Totally reasonable guess that gets funnier as we go on. Actually, it gets a lot funnier. Yeah, you say, "Old Doctor, we're traveling." So then, yeah, they realize they're not actually in this town anymore. This thing is traveling.
Yep.
Whose story will enchant us now? I will speak.
That's the barber and the doctor.
Yes. Let me out.
Doctor immediately changes his mind as soon as the haircut apron goes over him.
Yeah, that was
locks
insane.
him down.
Yeah, because they say, "Oh, don't worry, the first time is the worst time." The apron goes over him. It's some sort of psychic like energy thing that's holding him there. Very interesting. Rings of Akatan vibes, you say?
Yeah, the whole premise of this episode has been reminding me of the Rings of Akatan, where there's a giant fucking planet monster eating stories and possibilities and stuff like that. So I was just this whole time I was ready for the Doctor to do some like grand story like 11 did about all the like thousands of years of sorrow and joy and emotion that he had stored up.
Yeah.
Or maybe he would take a literal leaf from Clara's book and tell a story of potential and what could be and that infinite possibility. But no, it was just like tell a story and powers the engine for a while. And the Doctor, of course, being the Doctor, tells the story so vividly that he supercharges the engine, and the animated projections that we've been seeing are basically live action.
Yeah, which is pretty cool, and something you think, oh, maybe only somebody like the Doctor could do that, which is, but it's cool, the different approach, because obviously Rings of Akatan is like has a famous Matt Smith speech where he just it's just a really great speech where he talks about all the lives he's lived and all the stories he has inside of him, and still that's not enough, and it brings us back to the same kind of concept that normal life is so much greater than everything all these crazy stories. Obviously that has to do, you're right, with the potential of life unlived, with the leaf that represents Clara's mother who passed away. But yes, definitely a similar concept. Pretty cool. Ice Warriors. He invokes. Oh, I could tell a story about the Ice Warriors. He
got
could.
Mentioned.
He could tell a story about when the British troops were on Mars that one time and working with the Ice Warriors. But nothing is more vivid than an ordinary life.
Yep, pretty much what we were just talking about.
Yes. Live action replay. He starts telling a story about a shift that Belinda worked at the hospital.
Yeah, which looked like it had a sad ending at first, but we'll.
It did. It tricks you a little bit.
Because he said, "Yeah, the scream container is full." That's a reference to Monsters Inc. I don't know if you would have gotten that.
Okay.
But the little like container where that's showing the story power level, it goes from like red to green and like hits the top. It's like, oh, it's like the screen container in Monsters Inc. It's full.
Because Belinda's getting very frustrated, right? She's like, she's having a day. She's like ready to end her shift, and then she has to stay there for like another 10 hours or something.
Yeah, basically like identifies what's wrong with this patient, and if the doc like has to convince the doctor like you have to give her steroids or she's going to die.
Yeah.
The doctor's not believing it. It's fine. He's like, all right, fine, you please take care of this, and walks off, and she's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
And
definitely a Scrubs moment.
Yeah.
You can see that. I'm sure there are similar scenes on Scrubs.
I'm sure it happens all the time in the real world too.
Well, that's what I saw. People were talking about how that is that it does happen. It was a realistic depiction of. I guess sometimes doctors, like people in these positions of authority, they don't see the forest for the trees, and so you need that perspective from somebody else.
But yeah, the doctor says like, and she stayed with him. Or she stayed with her until the doctors wheeled her out. And it's like, oh, she died anyway. That's terrible.
That's what we thought. But I mean, really, it's a great showcase of Belinda's character and who she is, who we knew she is. But this is getting more in depth. So yeah, you say we're speeding up. I guess that means this story is really working. It's really revving those engines.
Yep.
And then in all caps, Mrs. Flood.
She's in the flashback. She's in the hospital.
This is interesting because I mean we're assuming the doctor wasn't there. Is this a story? I mean, was he being a creep and watching her from the periphery through all of this? Did Belinda tell him this story?
I think it would be Belinda telling him the story.
Yes, but then how does he know Mrs. Flood is there?
I don't know.
How does she appear there within a story? That brings you back to the whole thing where she's the character that breaks the fourth wall all the time, and it's like,
yeah. And then it comes back to, I was about to say, it's like maybe she's just like a non-diegetic part of the story or something.
Yeah.
The story being the episode that we're watching, and oh man, this is complicated.
Yes,
it's like like the doctor doesn't know she's in the story that he's telling, but we, the audience, know.
Yes,
that's what I'm trying to get at. But of course, maybe he does know because he's a Time Lord, and apparently they're far more omniscient in this reboot of the universe. So
yeah, it's hard to say how much he's been noticing. I mean, it took him a while to notice Susan Twist, and this is I don't know. Obviously, Mrs. Flood is a way more active player than Susan Twist was. or Susan Triad. Sorry.
It's hard to tell if he's even noticed Mrs. Flood yet.
Yeah. No, I mean he hasn't. So then you say, "Oh, she survived. The patient survived." Heartwarming story.
Yep, and she came into this. This is like a couple days later or something, or weeks later, and she brought flowers to like thank Belinda for staying with her and saving her life. It's like, oh, she survived. Yeah, it's great.
It was very nice. You can finally take the throne.
Yeah, it's a little peek into what the barber / storyteller's ultimate plan is here from Abina. You said
Abina. Yep.
Okay.
And so yeah, this is. He's up to something. He's up to he has some grand plan here.
Yeah, I think at this point I was imagining it was like, oh, they're going to some like faraway planet so he can ascend to the throne, and this is just it just so happened to be like the ladder to this alien throne was just happened to start in Africa. So
yeah. LOL, Belinda's getting arrested. This is Belinda makes her way out of the TARDIS and gets into some trouble.
Yeah, just knocks over some fruits and like causes a scene. And I thought she was getting arrested, but no, she ends up getting away somehow.
It's like a very funny cutaway gag. It's just like showing her kind of.
I will say her in the TARDIS. This episode was kind of funny. Just her trying to like talk to the TARDIS and like nothing's happening. It's a little funny.
It is. It kind of reminded me of when Clara first joined and the TARDIS didn't like her, and she was like, "What? Like, why don't you like me?"
Yeah, it did feel like the TARDIS didn't like Belinda. It felt more like just it. She wasn't sure how to interact with it.
Yeah, no, she had no idea. Doctor feeling betrayed, sad face. Yes, this is a powerful moment.
Right when the barber
when Omo, the owner of the barber shop, pretty much says like, I knew you would come. You can get all of us out of here. Yeah, I was planning on and this is the doctor's safe space essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So he feels a deep sense of betrayal here. And then you quote the doctor, "I trust you with both of my hearts." So yeah, you really feel. I mean, you feel for the doctor here, and you also feel for Omo. It's like one of those tough situations where, like, you understand both of them.
Yep, you understand exactly where both of them are coming from.
Yeah, and he just this doctor again. I think this is a distinction that you need to make between the 15th Doctor and previous incarnations, where this is a feeling that the Doctor would not express until now. Like this, he would just kind of hold resentment and be a little bit more crabby and stuff. But this is him actually vocalizing his feelings, which I'm
just imagining that the Tenet like quiet like broody face as being like that's what any previous Doctor would have done. It's just like he goes quiet, he gets reserved, but no, this is a different Doctor who has somehow managed to heal despite still doing the healing back in London.
Absolutely. Time Lord therapy. Got it. He doesn't get it.
He doesn't got it.
He doesn't got it.
Yeah.
What was that referencing again?
I don't remember. I don't even remember who says it. Just someone says "got it," and then but that's my comment. He doesn't got it.
Doesn't got it.
That's not how the story works.
I'm sure it's true. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. There's too much time in this story to actually you have got it at this point. What the hell is this?
I think that's when they break out the door.
The doctor opens the door. Yeah. So the doctor signs the door open because the door is locked, keeping them all in there. And guess what? They're on a fucking giant spider.
Yeah, in a space web.
A space web, yeah. You say giant mecha totem spider, which is a great way of describing it.
Yeah, it's giant. It appears to be mechanical. The face, it was like a traditional African totem mask face looking thing.
Yeah.
For the head, and it's clearly arachnid, so spider.
Yeah, so this is just a mind fuck. They're like, oh, we are not where we thought we were. We're not Africa
anymore, Toto.
Yes, yeah. You say, creepy little girl. So this is Belinda.
I completely forgot about the creepy little girl until Belinda asks about it at the end of the episode too. It's like, what's up with the little girl?
Well, so yeah, she sees this little girl, and the little girl is just kind of standing there. She looks at her, she looks away, and then the girl's gone. Josh, this is not a spoiler. It's in the casting. It's the character name. It's. Do you want to know the identity of this girl? We don't. There's no context or anything. It's in the credits. If you read the credits,
I would can give you her name. Not to. I would prefer not to, but I appreciate you asking.
Okay. All I'm gonna say is it's gonna get. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, genuinely. But the actress that is portraying the little girl in the character name makes it very interesting.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say.
All right. I assume she's going to be appearing later, or the character, or the little, either with this actress or as a grown-up version. I assume that's going to be coming up again later in the season.
Maybe I don't. This is just about this episode in the it's only relevant because she was in a previous episode.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
So that's all I'm
yeah, I'll keep it in the back of my mind and totally forget about it until it shows up in like half a season.
Yeah, exactly. The Nexus. He used to call it the World Wide Web.
And the humans named something far less spectacular after it or something like that.
That's so fucking funny. That's what he said. I love it. It's like it's kind of like a dad joke almost, you know.
Yeah, it's a very like campy Doctor Who joke to make, and I love that.
They had to go there, yeah. Oh yeah, and Belinda walks in. She finally gets there. Your companion. Is that what Abina says?
Yeah, like a Q story is like this. I'm still in the camp like she's maybe the fugitive Doctor.
Yeah.
That quickly gets dashed.
That kind of gets you to you kind of realize she knows the Doctor has companions. So that's
she knows of the Doctor at the very least.
Yes. No, I told him to go, actually.
Yeah, that's a nice little turn on the head. It's like, oh, did you leave her behind or something like that?
Oh, yes.
As you always do?
Exactly. Yes, because that's, again, we're getting this idea that she has history with the Doctor and that she knows that this is something that he does. He leaves some companions behind. He who hides his identity like a coward, like a troll on the web.
Yep. Coming back around to it's a trolling allegory. They're beating us over the head with it.
It's so fucking stupid, but fun. I mean,
in a good way.
That's something about this season that it's like, they're not afraid to go for those punches, you know, and like they're not coy about it.
They're spelling it out, which, quite frankly, people need things spelled out more these days. Apparently, because holy shit,
absolutely,
people don't understand subtext or metaphors at all. It's kind of distressing.
It is, and I mean, it's not done in like it's in my view, it's not done in a cringy way. It's like done in a way that is like forceful in a way that is necessary.
Yes, I agree.
You want to know who I am?
Ham-fisted in the best kind of way.
Yes, exactly. You want to know who I am? This is the barber that he's revealing his identity. Bastet, Dionysus, Loki. You question another pantheon?
Yep.
I begin all things. Story Lords?
Yeah, the name is this a new group? I like there's a lot of information being thrown at us all of a sudden. So.
There is.
But it turns out he's lying.
He's lying. The Doctor just cracks up. He starts laughing at him, and that really takes him down a peg. That is true. The Doctor says, "I met Dionysus." Oh well, I think it's pronounced
Dionysus.
Dionysus, okay. I think he says that he drank wine with Dionysus or something like that. It's pretty funny.
Yep, Greek god of partying, effectively.
Yeah, Bastet kicked his ass at chess. I know the gods, you are not them. So he immediately calls his bluff.
Yep.
Who are you? And then finally we get the real answer. I was once human. And he tells him his story, which is essentially he is the person that crafts these stories about the gods. And it feels as though
kind of a. Oh, sorry, I was gonna say it's like one of the first humans kind of thing, almost like an Adam figure.
Yeah.
But I hesitate to actually say Adam because Adam was created by the gods, and this is kind of the other way around, where this is the human creating the gods.
Yeah, he creates the mythos behind the gods, which is, arguably just as important as the actual god, more important than the actual god's existence. And so he feels slighted because he feels like they have taken all the credit and left him for dead after all this work he's put in, all these stories he's created and propagated. And so now he's claiming it all for himself, and found a way to do that with this spider engine.
He doesn't explain how he doesn't explain how he took someone threaded their divinity and weaved the web in the first place, and they kind of grew. So we do get an origin for the World Wide Web, but it's story, whatever.
It is firmly in the fantasy realm, obviously. So you don't really need these explanations, but it does make you think it's a good one. You say, oh yeah, he says, I was once human. And then he goes through the story, and he kind of says that he crafts these stories. We get flashes of the Miami. He said that was the Miami Theater on the screen and the Belinda Chandra robot ship, which that was interesting. I don't know if there's more to that. If is that an implication that the Doctor's stories are being crafted in the same way?
Right, or is it just an Easter egg for eagle-eyed viewers who's those are the things from earlier episodes?
Yeah. There's a question mark there. Typical Doctor, irresponsible. I think that's Abina, right?
Yeah, I couldn't pick out any names, but I think it was Abby. And I'm racking my brain
who the hell close. You woman? Say Abby, yeah. Abby? Yeah. You're very close. I don't know who she is. That's the Doctor. And then all caps.
No, I don't know who she is. It's me saying I have no idea.
Okay. That's actually you. You and the Doctor are in the same position at that point. Then you both have this moment of realization. Oh, in all caps, the fugitive Doctor.
No, this is Abina talking to the Doctor.
To be clear, Abina is not the fugitive Doctor, but
no. As the camera pans around their conversation, it goes behind Abina's back, and when it comes back out, it's the fugitive Doctor standing where 15 was talking. It's the same conversation.
Yes, it shifts from her talking to the 15th Doctor to her talking to the fugitive Doctor.
And that's one of those great cinematography things that I love. It's this is a great. It's the metaphor it's the visual metaphor that connects everything that you need to know about this scene. It's the fugitive Doctor at some point met Abina, and their interaction was not positive from Abina's point of view.
Yes, exactly. This was nuts, Josh. I just want to get your reaction. What did you get spoiled at all? Because this was all over the internet. Okay, thank God.
I was so this weekend I was busy finishing up a sketch, so most of my internet time was actually just completely unrelated to Doctor Who, and I was mostly listening to music, so nothing was popping up. And I don't follow anything on social media that would spoil this, so I'm pretty secure in Doctor Who spoilers right now. You're actually the biggest threat that I have with Doctor Who spoilers.
I'm the biggest threat. Well, I'll try to not be so threatening. What a mindfuck. This is crazy. Yeah. The fugitive Doctor, you quote, I was busy in a different story. I think she says, and someday I might finish it.
Is that what she said? Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fun.
So it's very fun, and a lot of possibilities there. Tons of possibilities. It's cool that Russell's bringing back a plot thread from the previous era. Obviously, the fugitive Doctor is total badass. I love whenever she's on the screen, she commands her presence just commands the whole thing. And I don't know. It is just sad that she's like pretty much her entire existence is relegated to cameos, you know. But yeah, it was nice seeing her back, and it makes me think like, oh, are there plans? Are there plans for more Fugitive Doctor?
I hope so. I mean,
or is it just a nice hat tip to like, oh, this is 15 is actually not the first Black Doctor. This is a kind of a nice little.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like a nice little nod to her.
We say Fugitive Doctor, but I think they're just the Fugitive. They
do go by the Doctor.
Oh, they do? Okay, never mind then. It's been a while.
Yeah. But that opens a whole can of worms though too. It's like, why are they called the Doctor back then? But like, does the Doctor select their name twice? Like, like before and after the mind wipe, memory wipe. There's a lot of questions about the Timeless Child, and I do kind of feel like there might be a grand plan that Russell has to recontextualize things. I don't know. That's one thing that's like we're not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This is a don't set your expectations too high, but there's a possibility.
Yes, exactly. And I wouldn't be disappointed if that didn't happen. I'm happy that he's just rolling with it. You say storyteller supreme.
That's a quote from Abina, I think, to Black Elvis, the barber.
Is he the new showrunner after RTD?
And that's me just joking around.
Yeah.
It's
really
is he gonna, if he becomes the storyteller supreme, does that make him RTD?
Yeah. That's very, very funny. That's what people think RTD thinks of himself, essentially. The difference between good and evil is what we do with the pain. That's Belinda, right? Talking to Adina.
Good line.
Yeah, absolutely. Belinda is very comforting there. Whispers.
Yeah, they go through the maze, and that was just
dude. We got to talk about what, because Abina starts
telling a story.
Telling the story, but braiding the Doctor's hair, and mentions that slaves kind of used hair braiding as a map to free themselves, and that's exactly what she does to help the Doctor.
It's a great story.
Escape.
Yeah, it's a great story and a great way to be like, all right, here's what you need, and doing it in plain sight, and yeah, it's great. It's a great metaphor for what's happening on screen.
Exactly. Yeah, it's awesome. I love that part. So then they go running through the maze. They find the story engine.
Yes.
Walnut tree heartbrain.
It's a very weird looking thing.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool design. So they open it up. They look at what's going on. You say the Doctor.
And they start trying to break
it. Yes, they start trying to break it. The Doctor challenged Hemingway to the short story, which is the 6-word story, right? Which is the saddest story ever told.
Yeah. For sale, baby shoes, never worn.
Yes. Which it's pretty damn sad. I'm not gonna lie.
But then the Doctor has his own story.
Yes. I'm born, I die. Which is essentially, that is Doctor Who, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's everyone's story, really.
It is. But I mean, I guess the difference is...
Except maybe me.
Except you?
Me. No, the character me.
I know, I'm just joking. I'm born, I die, but except the Doctor is then born again. So the story engine, I guess, scans the Doctor, and kind of his whole story is
it overtakes
the
facility.
The engine. Yes,
and this is where all the I need to look up a Easter egg video or something for this whole scene with all the different Doctors who start suddenly showing up, but also just the props that are in the story engine room, because I feel like there's got to be stuff there that's hidden that I just didn't catch at all.
Yeah.
Just all the props on the shelves and stuff.
Well, watch Doctor Who Unleashed on YouTube. They go behind the scenes, and you can
maybe
they talk about a lot of the set design.
Okay.
And so we see clips of 2, 9, 10, 12, 11, 4, 1,
and 1 in color.
Yeah,
I was impressed by that, because I mean 2 was
cool.
in black and white. So
Yeah, two
I was
was in
not
black
expecting
and
to see
white.
one in color.
Well, I think we see one in color because it's specifically from they put out the Daleks in color last year, which
Ah,
is the first Doctor story, the Daleks. They kind of edited it down and colorized it, and it's pretty cool. Um,
okay.
so yeah, it's always nice seeing the clips of old doctors and like this whole thing, like the doctor's history overwhelming the engine. Like that's
Yep.
kind of a beat that we've done before, but it's so
Yeah,
satisfying and it makes
it
sense.
is.
You know,
It also reminds going back to the whole
yeah,
Rings of
yes,
Akatan comparison.
yes, definitely. Told a never-ending story, which that's how I describe Doctor Who. People say to me, like, shows, television shows, they have their day. You can. It's okay to end things. Things don't last forever, and I argue things don't have to last forever, but they don't. But also, like
They don't have to end.
they don't have to end. Like this specifically, this show is designed to be a never-ending story.
Yeah,
That's just its function. That's it has a mechanism which allows it to regenerate and change every so often and continue. And so
yeah.
I think that's its strength, and it's unique in that way. So that's I love they're kind of referencing Doctor Who itself there. The stories say you protect life, that's the Doctor's MO.
It
I will
is.
be
Yeah,
right behind you.
that is
Not sure who
the
says that.
Doctor to Belinda, I think.
Okay. Uh, music sounds a bit like I Am the Doctor again. Dun 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 dun. I don't know if that
Yep.
was in there, but
It
it
was
was like,
similar. It was enough. It was enough
yeah.
to me to be like, is it? And I don't think it actually was, but it was close. It's getting close.
There's a few times this season where Murray Gold does
Brings back those
subtly
motifs a
call
little bit.
back. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and I love that.
Yeah, me
I
too.
love when I love when music does that in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't let this be how your story ends.
That's the Doctor
Uh,
to the barber.
yes, and making the case for redemption. Demon Spider. Spider goes boom. Oh, and you sent me a Simpsons gif
Yeah,
of
the haunted house.
what is
I think
that?
it's like the first Treehouse of Horror.
Okay.
They like move into a haunted house and they eventually convince it to either like stop haunting them and just live with them, or like just think about it. And so the house kicks them out, and the house just starts thinking about it, and then it does this little light show, and then it kind of like destroys itself in like a black hole. And it's like, well, it chose to destroy itself rather than live with us.
Yeah,
But the
similar
whole
things in
like
here.
the barbershop like collapsing in itself just reminds me of that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, Spider goes boom. All I wanted was to be
Hooray!
credited for my work.
There was a meme I saw a while ago. It's like um, normal people when the villain has a PhD, and it's like, oh, he was driven mad by or he so sad he got driven mad and something like that. And it's like uh, other people with PhDs when the villain has a PhD, it's like, oh, he was driven mad by academia. That totally makes sense. Yeah, yeah. I'm not explaining the meme right at all, but I was thinking of that when this line came up. It's like, all he wanted to be credited for his work. It's like, oh, he's an artist. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about the AI allegory from the first episode. This also
Mm-hmm.
kind of makes me think of that with AI stealing artists' work and
Or just
using it
uncredited
for
work
their
in
yeah.
not even just AI, just studios in general, uncredited work for
Yes,
shows and writing for movies and stuff like that.
absolutely.
Animators who and like game designers who get canned right after the whatever product gets shipped,
Yeah, yeah.
that kind
No,
of stuff.
it's a huge issue across the creative fields. Doctor and Barbara make up. Yeah, the Doctor
Yeah, that was
here
good to see.
is
Omo, I think is what his name was.
Omo. Yes. Um, which is a nice scene. You know, they come to in understanding that are still they're still pals,
Mm-hmm.
and they're both sorry for their behavior. It's a nice scene. I mean, it's like
It is.
it's another thing where when going back to the first Tenant Doctor, this would be a thing where he would totally ignore their discord previously and just kind of be flippant about it and not acknowledge it and just whatever.
Yep.
Like so it's just it's nice to have these moments that we didn't have before. Then the Doctor talking to the evil barber, Black Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
Now he says, I don't even have a name for people to trust, which is very sad. It's a very sad admission there.
Yeah.
And so Omo says, try my father's name, which I didn't catch the name either, but
I didn't catch either. I wrote ellipses, and then a question mark in parentheses, which is when I'm texting stuff where I write something down, if I don't know how to spell something, I'll just finish the word with a parentheses question mark parentheses.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could not understand what the name he gave him, but the rest of the line tells you all you need to know. It's Omo's father's name. That's quite a gift to give this person who had you trapped for several days.
Yeah, it's a cool sentiment, and I like that they end on a note of redemption. That's very very sweet and very Doctor Who. The stories were leaking out, getting mixed up. This is when Belinda says, "Hey, I saw a creepy kid just hanging out on the street."
Yeah. Yep.
And then she disappeared.
Like, oh boy, what's going on?
Yeah, stories are leaking out. And that also made me think, because Josh, the Doctor should not remember the Fugitive Doctor or his time as the Fugitive Doctor, because all of that information is in the Fob Watch. And as far as we know, they have not opened up the Fob Watch. The Fob Watch is sitting deep in the heart of the TARDIS.
I completely forgot about the Fob Watch. And I am someone who is always looking out for the fucking chameleon arc whenever it shows up. Whenever anything could possibly be a chameleon arc.
Yeah.
It's only happened once. It's never happened since the one episode of The Family of Blood, and I always look for that. And now we have this fucking Fob Watch, and I can't remember it. Fuck.
Yeah, that's the Fob Watch has the Doctor's previous
chameleon arc happened twice. The Master used it too in Utopia.
Yes, true. And so I don't think the Doctor's opened that Fob Watch to get their past memories. I think remembering the Fugitive Doctor is a function of the stories leaking out in that kind of realm. That's my explanation.
I like that explanation. It's a good one.
And we end on Once Upon a Time.
I mean, how else are you gonna? It's a storytelling episode. How else are you gonna end it?
Exactly. And I just like the theme this season and the last season, actually continuing the theme of stories and that kind of meshing with reality, and it's a very consistent thread in this era so far, and so it's definitely like underlined this episode. I liked it a lot. Next time, music competition goes wrong.
Yeah, it looks a little flashy, but it doesn't. Nothing in it in that like 30-second next time preview really interested me. So probably good thing I'm not going to be able to watch it like night of.
Well, there's this talent show, this singing competition called Eurovision that happens in the UK.
Oh yeah,
in Europe.
I'm
all
aware
of Europe, participates. That's happening this coming weekend. It's like this episode coincides with that show. So this is like galactic Eurovision.
It makes sense that they're doing this episode specifically next weekend, but I'm glad they were able to line that up.
Yeah, definitely.
Production schedules.
The thing about this though, it looks flashy and like silly and campy, and I think it will be, but Russell has said that it gets a lot darker than you think it's going to get. So we will see. We will see. And then after,
we do see a lot of people ejected into space, so I think a lot of people are about to die.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assumption to make. And then we are thrust into the finale, the 2-part finale, I think. So
is it 2-part as in 2 episodes the week after, or 1 episode each week?
Yeah, episode each week.
Okay.
So
darn.
we are getting.
We're gonna have a lot to talk about in 2 weeks, that's for sure.
We are, yes, we certainly are. Any final thoughts on the story and the engine?
Definitely a good episode. I was a bit confused by the mention of the traditional classical gods that the barber brought up. Because I mentioned earlier.
How do they interact with the pantheon? Are they connected? Are they?
Yes, I mentioned like this. This sounds like a different pantheon from the one I've been exploring with the Toy Maker and Lux and Maestro and Suketh. Fuck.
Sutek.
Thank you. But yeah, now all the traditional gods are now totally canon on top of this pantheon. But with the loosening rules around the 60th, I can just run with this new lore.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I still have no idea who Abina is. I thought she may be some returning character that I just was not remembering, but it seems pretty clear to me now through our discussion. Like, she is a new character for this episode, but who definitely has a history with the Doctor.
Yeah.
But it also she's also like the daughter of a god. So she's like a demigod at the same time.
Yes, that
we kind of glossed over that entirely.
We did gloss over that. Yeah, that she does say that. That's
and may have almost been a companion for the fugitive Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's an interesting story to tell there for sure.
Always super fun to see old Doctors make any kind of appearance. So that whole scene where all the TVs are lighting up with pretty much everyone's face. I texted as many as I immediately recognized, but I'm pretty sure we at least heard everybody.
The only one we don't hear or see is Seven.
Seven, interesting.
But apparently they were in the background somewhere. We just never see them.
Okay. Well, like I said, it's good that everyone got in there somehow.
Yeah.
And it is interesting that the fugitive Doctor is back. Maybe we kind of touched on this. Maybe RTD isn't completely abandoning that plot line. And I'm very interested to see where he goes with it, or where the story goes.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think there's a lot to be, with the whole Timeless Child thing and the Doctor being the origin of regeneration and Time Lord society, pretty much. Interpolating that with the whole concept of gods and I wonder if there's any crossover that I wonder if there's anything.
How many classical gods are just Time Lords that the Doctors hung out with in school?
Yeah.
It's also making me think of Stargate, where all the gods are basically being impersonated by aliens. So, it's been that's kind of where my brain's going right now. Also, I came up with a new crack theory that Mrs. Flood is also the Doctor. Not Susan, but just the Doctor, working as part of the Fugitives group, whose name I can't remember. Division. Damn it. That
would be fascinating, actually.
My gut feeling was that Mrs. Flood would probably end up being an incarnation prior to the Fugitive.
Yeah.
But
I like that's just idea. A crack theory.
I'm still firmly in the Susan camp. That's just a wild idea I had after the episode.
I mean, even without being the Doctor, like, she could just be part of Division. Like that would be interesting.
True. Yeah,
because Division is everywhere and nowhere, and that kind of seems like that's her thing too. So,
good point.
That's a good theory. We'll see. I'm excited for what's to come. Folks, thank you for tuning in. If you like what you heard, please go to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review and a 5-star rating and a nice review. Spotify podcast as well. That would be lovely. You can follow us on social media. We are at Hoodudes Pod on Twitter, and you can follow us on Blue Sky at Chapter Chumps Pod. Chapter Chumps, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm pretty sure. Follow us there.
Bsky.social.
Sweet. And look forward to next week. We will be talking about the Interstellar Song Contest on the program next week. But most of all, folks, until next time.
Remember, it's always hungry. Better get that haircut.
Sweet. Hell yeah, we did it. Just over an hour, but that's not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad. Pretty good.
Cool.